And now for our Better Business Profile of the Week. Like many new college grads, Erin Lowry moved to New York City to start her career in 2011. She worked 3 jobs just to make $23,000 in her first year here. Now, she is known as the broke millennial. She's authored 2 books on personal finance to help others with their money. She gives us her perspective on how the Great Recession, which is now more than 10 years ago, impacted a generation's relationship with money. Erin, your target audience are millennials. These are people who were either recent grads or in college when the last recession hit. How has all of that impacted their relationship with money?
A lot of the millennial demographic are still a little bit wary of the stock market, which is something trying desperately to overcome because it's incredibly important to be investing.
How much of a role does credit card debt play in our culture and society?
Well, one thing for us, for the millennial generation, is that money quickly became less tangible and more just something you could swipe with a card. Whether it's a debit card or a credit card, the moment we make it less physical, the easier it does become to spend. And the big thing, especially if you want to be building a credit score without incurring debt, is to spend no more than 30% of your available credit limit. Pay it off on time and in full every single month.
If we're headed to a recession, and I potentially have saved money and could invest in the markets, should I?
Yes, you want to get started now, especially if you have access to a 401k and get an employer match on that money. You want to take advantage of the free money on the table.
What is working against millennials in terms of taking traditional steps of, I don't want to say grown-up life, buying a home, a car, starting a family, college funds? What's working against us?
Now it's easy.
I should say you, not me. I'm not one.
It's easy to turn to student loans in these kind of moments. The amount of loans that people took out, a lot of millennials graduated on average with at least $37,000 in student loan debt. For most, that's a down payment on a home that you're trying to pay off.
If wages didn't move and millennials got out of college racked with debt, is that sort of how the side hustle and entrepreneurial spirit was sort of born?
I think it is a combination of the desperation to make money that lends itself to creating businesses and having side hustles. And I sometimes like to joke that it's the fact that we were raised in the whole self-confidence era, that we're a little bit delusional about we're all special snowflakes, so we're all going to be able to make it. And that actually tends to lend itself well to the entrepreneurial spirit. You have to believe in yourself.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.